Really excited to talk to the team and crew from Fidelity Title. We've got Colin and Brian and Tonya here, and we're going to do our 10 minutes, 10 questions in our ongoing YouTube series. Without further ado, Brian, I'll turn it over to you, and you can give us the intel on who you are and what you guys do, and we'll start there.
Oh, hey, thank you, Sean, for the invite. My name's Brian Shank. I am the area manager for Fidelity National Title in the Northern California area. We manage and oversee 14 counties in Northern California. On the call with us is Colin Roe, my sales manager, who represents those 14 counties as well as one of our talented sales executives, Tonya Gibson, who represents us in the Placer County region.
Wonderful.
So thank you for the invite.
No problem. And kind of before we dive into the questions, maybe you could just give us a quick narrative on, what you guys are seeing in the market currently, or what you guys are seeing as far as numbers are concerned, or anything any commentary you'd like to spill out, before we dive in.
No, absolutely. First, I'd like to say, and I don't think we recognize enough, and I think that's becoming a bigger part, is all the first responders and medical personnel and everybody that's out there on the front lines during this time of crisis. I'd like to just personally say thank you to them. Their service to what's happening out there is incredible and is very appreciated. But from our region, we're coming from some all-time highs to some challenging times within the marketplace. I mean, a month ago, we were talking about record year.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about the challenges that we're going to be seeing in the near future and that we're currently seeing. Mortgage originations are down about 30%, which takes our volumes down. I think it's about 34% on the refi side and about 16% on the resale side as of the last trends I've been looking at. But we are still closing transactions on a high volume. We've been dealing with challenges within getting deals recorded with different time slots for the different recording offices throughout the state of California. Some of them are electronic recording counties, which is extremely helpful. Some of them are not, and we're seeing some delays in confirmations as it relates to that in these non-digital counties, where we put some docs in a Dropbox and then they don't get on record until the next day. So those are just some of the things that we're seeing, but we're kind of business as usual here at Fidelity with a twist, is like what I like to say. We're still serving our community. We're still opening a lot of transactions as it relates to, I mean, it's not the same as it was a month ago, but
sure,
in our world, it is a good volume of transactions. So that's a positive for us.
Business is still moving.
Business is moving.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. That was a great narrative. Loved it. Okay, we're going to dive right in here. So as a business, what have been the challenges from working from home with this shelter in place for you, the team, and for the customers?
Well, the good news, here's the good news. We have had a percentage of our company working from home for years. Okay. We have title personnel working from home. We have escrow personnel working from home prior to this. Now, the challenge is the scale of the amount of employees we have at home. And now where we were maybe 10%, now we're at 50 and 60%. If there is a challenge, it's, in an office, when an escrow officer and a sales or an escrow assistant work together, they're talking chin to chin. And now they're kind of doing what we're doing. They're learning how to communicate differently via, whether it's instant messaging, phone, or video like this, whether it's Zoom or Microsoft Teams. I think if there is a challenge, it's that. But our productivity is remaining the same. We're getting deals closed for our communities and our customers out there. It's just a communication piece, and it's a learning curve. I'm getting a lot of good feedback from our people going, I never thought that I could do this,
right? And
now we're doing it. So,
wonderful.
But we've always been in position to work from home, and I think aside from other companies, I don't know what all the other companies are doing. I know there's a lot of real estate agents working from home and lenders working from home. So the communication piece is the same thing. We're, instead of chin to chin, as we would call it, now we're screen to screen.
Yeah, it's an interesting, evolving new business, new systems and models that are coming to fruition right now.
Oh, absolutely. And in an effort to protect our employees, our employees and their families' health and welfare, and our customers. We're learning as we go here, but the social distancing is an important part of it. So as many people as we can get to a home office is really good for our business.
Wonderful. Well, this really leads into the next question, which is, and maybe this is a 30,000-foot question, but do you think over time, the business model, the way you do business may change? And the follow-up question to that is, what do you, and this could be a question for Tonya or Colin as well, but what do you see as Fidelity's value proposition through this timeline?
Well, I'll take the first half.
Sure.
And then Colin, you step in on the second half on the value prop. But I think we're all learning from this. We're all evolving. Every business out there has to evolve. We're seeing our communities do business differently. So I think, rethinking the business model, I think we'd be crazy if we didn't. I think as our customers and as our client base evolves, we need to evolve with them. So yes, I can see there being changes, and it's happening today. It's not happening down the road. We're living the business model change, right?
Yeah.
Now, as it goes to bricks and mortar, do we see us getting out of different areas with bricks and mortar and stuff like that? I don't think so, but there is an element of, we have individuals who are working from home that like it, and if it makes sense for us, I think we would have to look at it from a business perspective to continue to serve the customer base.
Great feedback.
And I'll take the second part, your company's value proposition. I think the bottom line is our decisions are made because we care, first and foremost, about the health and safety of our business partners and our employees, our Fidelity family. And with that, every decision we've made has been with that in mind, while still maintaining a level of service that we need to do to provide to our customers, to keep our economy going. Because I think that helps each and every one of us keep going too, having purpose, waking up in the morning, making that impact. We're open for business, our value proposition, and it's just with a twist. And what I think about right now, and I've been thinking about over the last week, is our company has 6 core precepts. And the first 3 we're really, really living right now is autonomy and entrepreneurship. We're learning new ways to go out ahead and do. We're willing to make changes, not staying rigid. And when we need to make different things happen, we are. We have different spot approvals that we've been able to do through the entrepreneurship of Brian. Our bias for action. We're not just talking about it. We're deploying our people. We're coaching. We're helping through and helping our business partners walk this out as well, because we need to be solution driven and oriented. And that leads us to our third, customer oriented and motivated. We're here to close these transactions, to help these families still move or save money on a refinance. At the end of the day, that's what we do. And not just our clients who are closing, signing on the dotted line, but, when Tonya's doing a Zoom meeting with a business partner, they may not be going out to door knock right now, but she's Zooming with them, talking about our farming programs, how they can door knock in their mailbox, how they can door knock and connect with their clients. Currently we're having to rethink how we do the same things right now, and we're motivated to be there for our clients right here, and to be around through the turnaround, because once this turnaround does happen, those who have been building, equipping, and growing are going to be the ones poised to keep going forward.
I love that.
Tonya, you're knocking on doors right now in a different way, right? Talking to customers and clients.
We've had to get more creative, but communication is ultimately important right now as much as it's ever been. So finding ways to either do text blasting, video messages, meetings, like you said, being able to, I've even had to train some people that were intimidated to have a Zoom meeting because they weren't sure how to utilize it. So then I've even done walkthroughs before an actual meeting started. So definitely.
We're all learning this tech. One of the cool things we did is about 9 months ago, we deployed BombBomb with our team. And so now we're at a comfort level with it as opposed to a huge learning curve. So that's kind of it, I think, for question number 2. Sir.
I love it.
And I think
I love it. And I was reminded after a coaching call earlier this week that, and I'm going back to, as an industry, what is our value proposition to the economy? For every transaction that closes, amazingly, the numbers are, it supports 23 jobs.
Yes, it does.
And, you think about that and you go, wow, should 150, I'm watching the MLS very, very closely as far as numbers is concerned. We had 150 closings over the past 24 hours as per MLS. That's a hell of a lot of jobs that are being supported by all of us in this industry. It really takes all of us contributing and pushing forward and moving ahead instead of digging our heads in the sand and saying, okay, we're going to wait until this is over.
Yeah, it's not about what's happening to you. We should be looking at what we can learn and how we can move forward in this. And I would just close with our value prop is, Colin said this a little earlier, we really care about closing our business partners transactions in any market. We've been through some challenging markets, not quite as challenging as this because of this virus.
Right.
But we're here to help. So I would just say we care about closing our transactions.
I love it. Okay, and you guys can use this question either for yourself, because I think we've covered it for you, but if you want to elaborate on, maybe there's another business out there, maybe there's a real estate agent or brokerage that you could speak specifically to through this video, but the question really is, do you see this as an opportunity to rebuild your brand?
I'll start that, and Brian, if you want to follow, I don't necessarily see it as a way to rebuild our brand, but a way to remind our brand's core values, where we've been, where we are, and where we're going. We've been around for over 150 years. We've been through a lot of markets, weathered the storms that have been out there. This is a new storm, but those on our ship have been through similar things. And being able to have things in place to go out there and share with the market, we are offering things like gap coverage if needed. Those things are there. And we are trying to communicate each and every day with our business partners as we can to be clear, articulate, and accurate with what we are seeing and what is going on. Because in these times of uncertainty, clear, concise, and accurate communication, I think, is absolutely imperative. So I think we're reminding all of ourselves of, the brand that we do have, and the brand that has been through a lot of different things throughout the 150 years we've been around, and how we're going to go through this as a brand and see what shakes. Now, Brian, what would you like to add to that?
I would just say, as it's impacted, I would say following what we're doing, staying in touch with your customer base, bringing value, bringing information, and staying in front of not only your current customers, but future customers as we migrate through this challenge. And that's what I would add. That's what I would tell everybody. Stay in front of your people. There will be transactions that happen now for us, and there will be future transactions that happen. And what we do now will better prepare us for in the future. And that's all I would say there.
All right, so let's talk about goals for 2020. We all have our sales goals, that we've written out the beginning of the year, and some people are saying, hey, we've ripped those up. Some people are saying, hey, we're doubling down on them. And just curious, how have your business goals for 2020 been affected?
Well, they've been affected. That's absolutely for sure. But the one goal that's not affected, and this relates to everybody, is our market share goal.
Okay.
Our growth. We're doing things differently, but the market share goals that we have are the singular goal that we can continue to grow and foster with. We're not out there with our sales force or our escrow force doing chin-to-chin meetings, but we're out there via Zoom and other things and bringing value to not only our current customer base, but to future clients. So the market share goal is going to go unaffected in this time, and we'll become better at getting and growing our market share with all the tools that we're using now via like what we're talking about face to or screen to screen here now. And I think that's the one goal we just need to focus on. And if we can do that, I think we'll come out of this just fine.
I love that. Light bulb just went up in my mind going, okay.
This is a great time to grow our market share.
Yeah.
Because there's a customer base out there that's not being communicated with, that is in fear, is challenged. What do I sell? Do I refinance? Can I do it? There's just a lot of things going on. So if we're bringing that value and that knowledge and our skill sets to those people and helping them, we'll continue to grow as well on the market share side.
Awesome answer. So now we're going to talk about bringing people together, customers, clients, employees. We've talked about it before. We're doing things a little different. We're using some systems, but if any of you want to elaborate, the fifth question is, how are you facilitating bringing people together?
I say we defer to Tonya on this, because she's listening every day.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Utilizing video has been huge. I know that when it comes to keeping in touch with all my escrow officers, there's some that are working from home, some that are in their office. I like to send them little video messages just to let them know I'm thinking of them, give them updates on what's going on. A lot of email, text blasting, utilizing all the different tools that we have at our fingertips to reach out to as many people as we can. I just sent a big slide broadcast voice message out to like 60-something people. I couldn't have called them all in one day. But it's just utilizing the resources that are available to us and taking advantage of those. But communication is ultimately super important. I've done some happy hour meetings also with some of my clients, and that's been fun, just being able to see each other like this, and we're doing a little cheers with our wine glass and incorporating escrow officers in on that. It's been
do you think connected. That, I mean, from grassroots level, do you think that's something that you'll continue after this? I mean, it's such a great way to connect with so many people.
I think so. I think these Zoom meetings have been awesome. I'm even doing my Toastmasters meeting via Zoom, and it's been a learning curve along the way. But it's just, it's a whole new level of reaching out to people for sure. And I don't want to, I definitely am looking forward to the face-to-face again, but at least we have technology while we're going through something like this.
Sure. Okay. Great answer. So I'm going to move to the next one, which is, you guys are in connection, in contact with both employees and agents in the marketplace, and also consumers. So how are you seeing people get through this from an emotional level? Many people are afraid. Some people are optimistic or hopeful. In some ways, it really accentuates your internal personality in some cases. But what are you seeing out there? How people are getting through it, and what are you guys specifically doing to remain optimistic during the pandemic?
I'll go ahead, Brian.
Go ahead. You had something to say.
Okay, so getting through it, I think the biggest battle, Sean, is right between the ears. If you turn on the news, you go to Yahoo, you see all the doom and gloom, and that's a reality. But there's a lot of really great things happening out there as well. You're seeing families and people sewing masks together, serving their elderly neighbors, going back and forth. So I think what we put into our heads and our hearts is what's going to come out of us, and to making sure that we're filling ourselves with positive and with light, and by that, doing that to those around us. A good friend of mine has a saying, does a room light up when you walk in or walk out of it? And I think about that with conversations now. When we're having a conversation with somebody, does it light them up or does it darken them?
Right.
Our goal is to be a light to those around us. Talking collaboration, hope, empathy. What are we learning through this right now? How are we growing through this? Because this too will pass.
Right.
And I think there's a lot more closeness in weird ways happening, that we can't have the physical interaction, but we're doing more of this.
Yeah.
With it, I think people are getting through it through reading, looking through old family photos, a little more nostalgia, board games, eating around a table. I think there's a lot of coming back to simplicity right now. And my hope is some of these really good habits that we're building right now, we don't get distracted when everything comes back, that we let distractions eliminate some of the good that's coming out of this through relationships, through emotional things. Mm-hmm. And that's a daily thing. I don't think we ever stay there. Right. We need to always pursue doing that, not letting circumstance dictate our joy level, but focusing in on gratitude. I mean, my wife and I'll tell you, in the morning, we share what we're thankful for. We, kiss our little baby girl, and we go about our days. And when we get home, we either go for a walk in the neighborhood, and then sit in the front yard and wave and talk to our neighbors from the porch. And we didn't do that before. And there's just something that's cool about that. So getting through it, I think we're all trying to figure it out, but we're connecting on a human level, I think, a lot better.
Fantastic answer.
And I would echo on that. I think that there's a human side to this, and a caring side that we take that to our employees. We practice the social distancing to keep people safe. But as to what Colin's saying, I think we're pulling back into community and pulling back into the more connectivity to our people, to our customer bases. And there's a caring going on and a support for fields that we've never really, I hate to say this, paid attention to. I mean, it's like we talked about my son. He's in the medical profession. He happens to be a respiratory therapist in an emergency room. So the realities are, I'm not seeing him at this point, but we talk a lot, and he's got some concern and sharing things. But the family, the community, our employees, I mean, that is our community. So we just need to practice the social distancing and making sure that we get through this time together as a whole versus a bunch of independent people running around trying to figure it out for themselves. And I think that's how we get through it. Community.
Great answers, gentlemen. And I'm going to skip 7 because it's how have you personally been affected, because you guys have shared so much about, what's happening personally in your family. So I'm going to move to number 8, which is, if this ended tomorrow, how long will this impact your business?
Good question. I think if it ended tomorrow, it would impact us over the next 3 to 5 quarters.
Okay.
That's my forecast. That's what I believe. I think, you get into what's happening right now, and we still have this the shelter in going on, and we don't really know when that's going to end, but it's going to impact us for a couple quarters. Then we go into the season ends, the fourth quarter, first quarter. So I really see if it ended now, it would probably be sometime second quarter next year, third quarter next year that we start to peel out of this. And I think at that time, this could be a pretty robust machine. I think rates will be where they need to be to get people off the shelf, but it'll take 3 to 5 quarters if it ended now. But and I think that's the norm. I think it'll be 3 to 5 quarters as to whenever it ends. So,
right. Okay. Number 9, what can I do, and what can the viewers do to serve you guys?
I would say this, in this time, and I've shared this with our team, are we spending this time right now or investing this time right now? And there's a slight difference to that, but it's how are we all investing our time in ourselves, in our families, and in our businesses. Mm-hmm. So when this does turn around, we're ready to go. Because like you said, Sean, when a real estate transaction closes, it affects about 23 people. And those people are connected to families. Right. And it kind of has that ripple effect. And if we all do our parts together in concert, we can really help this turnaround come back, not just from an economic standpoint, but from a social standpoint where we could come back and rebuild stronger than we ever were before. Yeah. And I think that's an important thing for us to keep thinking is moving forward. How can we grow from this? Not being a doomsday, looking at things with the reality spin, but also going, okay, how can I learn? How can I grow and be here? And keep practicing collaboration, patience, and understanding, and coming together with questions. And how can we help one another? And I think that's a cool thing that can happen now. I mean, I think that's the best way to serve is doing what we do best in our businesses, but in our personal lives as well. And I think those are going to come together for a great thing. I think serving us, an open escrow. Like you said, an open escrow can lead to a closed escrow, right? And that's 23 economies that get better. And if we all keep our, doing it safe with the social distancing and all the ways. I mean, I'm seeing different virtual tours and different things happening. And I think we're going to see some, like Brian said, and you guys have all said, some of the stuff we're implementing right now will last way beyond this.
Agreed. And
will become a part of our norm.
Agreed. Anything else we can do to serve you?
I think an understanding that we're all in this together, and that we just need to work more compassionate with one another. I mean, not that our business partners don't, but I think there's got to be a little bit of understanding from our part as we're serving you guys, and reciprocated back and forth. And I would say together we will move forward with this, and we'll all be better off because of it. Just this question and this dialogue that we're having now, I think, is tremendous and super helpful. So thank you for that.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay. So each one of you can answer this final question, which is one piece of advice for a business owner that may be outside of the real estate industry, and also one piece of advice for real estate agents or brokers right now during this time.
I guess I'll start. And I think it'll go back to what I said earlier, Sean, about our goals. Every business needs to focus on their current client base, like us. We are focusing on our current client base, but we are also focusing on market share growth in this time. We're not looking backwards, we're looking forwards, because at some point, this too shall pass, and where we are then versus where we are now will be much more efficient, hopefully a lot more market share, because we're bringing value to the communities. And I think if from our perspective, that's the focus. The focus would be serve who we're working with now, and let's go find the individuals who need our support and need our information and need our services that aren't getting that information to them from current customers, would be our market share growth in the future. And every business should be looking in that direction. They shouldn't be looking backwards. They should be looking forward.
I love it. I love it. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
Colin, what do you got, buddy?
I would say in this time, look to thrive right now, not just survive. Take a full stride in what you're going for, pursuing it. And I would say, love your neighbor as yourself right now, personally and professionally. How can we be there for one another in helping achieve goals, but getting through this and thriving? And, just like Brian said, the rear view mirror is smaller than the windshield for a reason.
Yeah.
So focus forward on what we can control, and not to necessarily focus on what we can't, because that will drive us insane. But control what we can, encourage others, and we'll get through this together.
Awesome. I love that. Look to thrive, not just survive.
That's
all right,
correct.
Tonya, you're up.
I'd say stay visible, be the person that people can count on, be informative, reassuring, positive, just keep in front of the people that you need to stay in front of.
I love it. Stay visible. Well, guys, I know we went way over, which is awesome, because I got to be honest with you, it was great having you all here, but this has been one of the funnest conversations I've had in this series, and the most informative, because we've got all three of you at once. So I really do appreciate your team taking out some valuable time during the day to speak with me. Lori Isle, I'll give her a quick plug here, has always been close to my heart and one of my favorite escrow officers. So it's great to support her, and you guys also obviously support her, but just as a full team.
No, we thank you for the
Thank you
invite.
so much.
We do. Lori is incredible, and we have a great group of individual escrow practitioners at this company. So
It's
thank
awesome.
you.
It's awesome. Well, best of health and wellness to you guys and your family through this time, and I know we'll be talking in the interim, but we'll see you on the other end of this shelter in place.
We may
Amen,
see you
brother.
sooner on this screen.
Okay, I like it.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, blessings
Thank you,
to you all.
Sean.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Take care.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.